All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 211 of the Bench Time Podcast with Todd and Brett Wiley of Wiley's Scale Modeling. So what's going on?
Huh? Oh, new setup.
Yeah.
We said we were going to go do this and start doing it live, and so I thought, well, you know what, a better angle than what I had last time, which was facing the closet over here. It was it's awful, and because I got like all kinds of other shit in there that's not modeling in the closet, like camping equipment and Christmas decorations and shit like that. So, but this I thought would be a better shot of our actual workspace, and which I've changed, by the way. We'll talk about that then too a little bit. And yeah, been busy today and yesterday. I was a little under the weather. I feel better now. I was off work and didn't feel too good, so I'm feeling better, ready to go. But yeah, it was rough. So I'm good to be back in the saddle. That's why we didn't record last night. So just letting you know. But,
No, it's fine.
yeah.
I also had some kids sports stuff we had to finish up late last night.
Right.
So yeah, it's all good. But we've been busy as well doing some building too. So we're getting there with the layout.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I saw some of your work. We're going to talk about that a little bit too.
yeah, we'll go ahead and fill some time. I'm just sharing the live stream link out.
Okay. So, well, it's more what you've been doing more so than what I've been doing because.
Well, I know, but you're not really helping me. You're filling some time. I'm just trying to share these links out real quick.
Okay. Well, yeah, you sent me some pictures of what you're doing. I saw some of the foam work that you put on the carving of the looks like a switchback road that goes down.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. I can only imagine what you had in store for that because I picture like trees in different sections going down.
Yes.
And you giving it that wooded look. That'll be cool. But and then of course you started some rock stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna. Right now it looks like the Grand Canyon because it's like a orange color.
Right.
But it's going to become much more. What do you say? It's going to become much more filled in with foliage. I just use that brown because honestly, I don't use that coffee color brown that I painted the foam. I not gonna lie, I just picked the color brown I knew I wasn't gonna use for anything else.
Right.
And what's it called? It's right
That's
here.
brown, man. It's not going to really matter.
No, I know, but I don't. When you take a picture of it and I share it, I'm like, it looks like I'm out west, like in the. It looks like Canyonland type of whatever, like coloring. It's that red.
It's that red clay look.
Yeah, but I have this cafe colored whatever craft paint. Anita's all-purpose acrylic craft paint from Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to use it for a building this color. It's like too red. It's like it looks like Adobe color.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? And then I'm like, well, actually, this is made by Rust-Oleum.
Yeah, oh wow, it is.
The Anita's brand.
Wow.
Huh.
Well, I hope it's better than their freaking cans.
Maybe that's why it's clogging up the end so quick.
Oh. Got a question, real quick. This is more of a technical question for everybody, for Brett more than anybody else. And this last time we were on, whenever one of us was talking, the thing would switch back and forth. Where do I change that?
Well, I don't know. It's probably gonna. Well, I'm the one streaming it. It's probably gonna do that right now, because
last time I was able to grab stuff and show it, and from my little tiny screen down here, it's gonna be tough for me to see what I'm showing. But whatever.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to test it because I'm not. This is only my second time doing this, and I'm not too well versed on it. Let me actually. try this here. If I'm talking, I want to see if it switches to me. So I'm just going to talk for a minute and let it do its thing. And right now there's a lag because you're talking.
I'm talking now, but it doesn't switch. That's weird.
Well, I'm looking.
Oh, okay.
Well, it doesn't switch for us because we can see each other. I want to see if on the live stream it switches.
Okay.
I don't know. Right now, you're just blabbing your gums. I can't tell if you're...
What?
Hang on. Oh, yeah, it switches.
Okay, good.
I can't tell. I had the volume down the whole way, and it's just you chewing your gum.
Is that picking up?
No, but
Oh.
the volume was muted, and
Okay.
and we were...
So you thought I was
and there's a lag, and I had it muted. I'm like, is he talking on here, or is he just chewing his gum? So I turned the volume up. It does switch. Guys, we'll figure out later. We'll get better with it. We'll figure out how to...
Yeah.
We'll figure out how to do the actual switching of the cameras. But right now...
Oh, I can pull that up. In-call messages. So that
Oh.
allows me to read whatever somebody's typing.
it has the chat, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good. Now,
I think. Anyways, all right, let's get back on this.
All right.
All right, give me a second here. Let me go over to the live stream. All right. Anyways, let's get back on track. We're going off the rails here.
Okay, that's fine.
Anyways, so yeah, the Adobe colored coffee, whatever it's called, paint. I don't really want to use it on a building, so I just covered the ground with it because to me it's like it's just stupid color. I'm never going to use it, and this is perfect because then I can use it to cover the foam, and it's just going to get covered with ground foam and trees and roads and everything else. So
Yeah, it looked good.
yeah,
So, I mean,
Yeah.
all we gotta do is get rid of that green, you know?
yeah, it's just to cover the green and the purple.
Right.
So
Purple.
yeah, we got that
Well,
pink
that's good.
foam.
What's that?
It's that pink foam.
Yeah. Okay. So we have green foam and pink foam.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to cover up like the nasty greenish pink colored foam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, it looks good. It looks good. And then you started to put plaster on. Oh, not plaster. Sculpting mold. Do you need more sculpting mold, by the way?
no, because I have
'Cause I got 2 bags down there.
well, I have a bag and a half yet, and I already
Alright.
used a bunch on what I already used, and I still have a bag and a half.
Okay.
There we go. Now I got the comments up. Okay. All right. I was trying
How do
to.
I get the comments up?
Well, I have 2 windows open.
Oh.
I went to the YouTube video and I just put the comments on the side.
Okay.
All good. All right. Hey, give me 1 second. All right, we're back.
Sounds good.
Anyways,
I can't see the comments. I'm trying to figure out how.
well, I opened it in YouTube, Dad, and I have it in a different window.
That's how.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get back on track. So I covered all the foam, I carved it up, and I did do a carved road. The let me tilt my camera here. The hill I was working on is right there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a weatherman when they're looking at the green screen and they can't see a screen behind them, and they're trying to
Yeah.
like point. But yeah, hills right here that I'm working on. That big white section you see right there on my fingertip, that is the actual rock that I was working on with the Sculpta mold. Obviously, it needs colored, but I'm waiting for it to dry completely too because that is it was wet for a while. So the problem I forgot with Sculpta mold is I made too big of a batch. And I was like taking my time, like making the rocks look good and whatever. And then it starts to dry in the bowl. And I'm like, oh, damn. Now I got to hurry up. And I'm like re-wetting it. And yeah. So,
That's fine.
it was fine.
And you can smooth that shit out too when you.
Well, actually, I figured out that once it started to harden a little better, it didn't look
Yeah.
as much. It didn't look as popcorny. for the rocks. That was my problem. Was it was too wet when I was putting it on,
Yeah.
and then when it started to dry out, I'm like, well, my rocks just look like popcorn, like they got all
Yeah.
lumpy. But then when I came back a couple hours later and it was like wet but dry to stay in place, but like still a little bit pliable. I went back
Yeah.
with it's over there. I went back with one of the metal spatulas, and I started like smoothing it out
Smoothing it.
with the flat end. I started smoothing out the rock faces.
And then
Now,
you're gonna take the rock mold pieces and stick them on there or glue them on.
yeah, I have
I
got
used white glue or some kind of glue.
over here on a piece of cardboard. I must
Yeah.
have 50 rocks. I'm not going to use them all, but I went crazy and just made a giant batch of rocks the one day.
Right.
But I made a bunch of rocks. So I got enough rocks to do more than what I need for this section. So
get
yeah.
it.
Now, I'll tell you what, the worst rock mold ever is that one. Here it is. It's right here.
That monster one,
No, it's not the big flat one. It's this one. It's like super deep.
the deep one.
You know how much of a pain in the ass it is to get that out of there?
I even on that big waterfall section. I only use it one piece of that because of that very reason. It takes up. It's too much. I mean, if you're gonna use it to help sculpt out the base of a mountain and put it at the bottom, and then work smaller ones up to top, that's great. But when I was working with that waterfall, I had a stream, so I don't want it to put there because I take up my stream.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I put it on the other side, then it juts out too far out the end of my diorama piece that we're dropping in. So I really only use it in one spot, and then that was it. And even then, I carved a little bit on it. And but
Yeah. Well,
now what I did with mine was I glued them on with like on the flat sides with Eileen's tacky glue. Stuck them on the side. I got them in the places I want them and let them dry. And then in between, I took the Sculpta mold and filled in the gaps in between when they might have been like, that much of a space in between, and like a quarter to a half inch or even less. And, but when they're up against each other, even they have they kind of go in,
Yeah.
It doesn't look natural.
Yeah.
So I used the Sculpta mold to fill it in, and I just kind of, if I needed to, I'd etch the Sculpta mold with a tool of some kind.
Well,
and,
yeah, I'm gonna do that next.
and that makes it flawless,
Yeah, I'm gonna do that next. It's just I had to make a million molds, and some of the rock where I wanted to blend it already with the Rust Rock Falls gigantic rocks you did already.
Yeah.
I didn't want to jam the rock molds into that weird corner, and I had a couple ledges. So either way, it doesn't matter because the custom rocks I made with the Sculpta mold and the rocks in the mold that I made with the plaster, once I get them on and I start smoothing them all out and blending them in, you're not going to be able to tell which ones I did with the Sculpta mold or the rock mold anyways, because I've gone back through now and smoothed out the Sculpta mold anyways. So, right now it just looks like a pile of white gloop on the side. Yeah, but I mean, it's got edges and stuff. It just looks, I mean, it looks like the unpainted or unweathered rocks I have down here that are just plaster, just blobs of white goop. But yeah, so that's where I have now. I'm not gonna do any water coming down there because you already have water coming down the front of it. I might do a couple spots on the rock faces though with the where is that stuff? Here, the AK puddles.
Yeah, the only problem with that, dude, it's so freaking greenish. It's like it's got that like a greenish color.
Yeah, but if I'm putting it on gray, it'll be fine. I'm not gonna do a lot of it. I was just gonna do little streaks. I'm not doing like I'm not doing puddles. I'm gonna do streaks or get some Mod Podge and just make some wet spots on the rock.
I have something. Hold on. Of course, right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, while you find that,
I haven't used it. I got it right here.
While you find it, I'm gonna keep talking. So I'm gonna do it where anywhere you see, especially in our area, like along the highway and whatever, you see those. That light is in my eye. You see
Oh, sorry.
Anywhere there's exposed rock face, you get springs and like wet spots on the rocks. So I'm gonna just
Yeah.
once I have the rocks ready, I'm gonna just put those like um, wet.
Is it my lights in your eye?
No, mine.
Oh, okay.
I was
like,
adjusting
why
my
would
light.
mine affect you?
No.
But hold on here. I got some shit. Yep.
We got a comment that says you could probably use some sort of release on the deep one. I probably could have, but I'm not buying more. Like if you guys know us by now, I'm a cheapskate, so I'm not buying any kind of any extra stuff for my molds. I'm just gonna raw dog the molds and try and not break the rock getting it out of there. I don't even know if a release would work well on that because it's like it's such a deep. There's some weird crevices and it's like you really got to work it out of there. So the smaller rock molds, the release might work pretty good.
Yeah.
But like that big that's a behemoth of one, and it's just so deep in there. I just feel like you have to bend the mold to get it out. Like it's just there's no way to do it.
Right. And I would I'm opening.
The only other problem with that deep mold, Dad, is the amount of work you have to use to get it out of that. Now, someone will come on here later and say, "Oh, there's a product for that, so it just slides right out in some kind of whatever." But I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. But the other problem is that big mold. I feel like we've already went through one of them where it gets a hole in it because you got to contort that mold so much to get that rock out of there. It ends up ripping that rubber.
It does, and because we ripped one or two of them already.
Yeah, and then you don't know it's ripped until you go to pour plaster in it, and then it's leaking all over the.
Shit, there's $15.
Yeah, and well, not just that, but you go to pour plaster in, and it's leaking all over your workspace.
Right. So, yeah, like I said, it's going to be cool. It's cool now to finally start realizing some of the actual layout. It's taking shape finally after all these years. We got all the buildings. That's the other problem. We get so many buildings.
When I'm building more right now.
Me too.
Like it's
I got one right here.
It's the problem is we know we already have enough and we're building more.
But
I mean, it's not a problem.
No, it's not a problem so much as you look at it, you're going, where are we gonna fit all these? I mean, it's gonna fit because we're gonna condense everything. Make it tight. Alleyways and stuff, and make the buildings tight for the city. But you when you start looking at them, it's overwhelming at times. You can't look at them as everything. Like we have them sitting on that one table, and they're all in one big giant group, and you're like, geez, which ones do I mix with which, and where do I put it? Because we have an industrial section to your right, and then we have we have the country section to your left, and then directly behind you, it will be where the elevated rail. Oh no, that's the harbor, and then behind that, all the way across, will be the city. It goes up in the back.
Yeah,
and the so you're sitting there trying to place it in your head, and you're like, oh, well, what about this industrial building? We could put it in the city, or we could put it in the industrial section.
Yeah.
So. And when I got down there and I was working with you last time, I'm looking at it all and I'm like, wow, man, you can't look at them as a group.
Yeah, I don't.
Hodgepodge group. You have to sort them.
I don't have that problem though. Like I don't look at them as the whole thing. Like maybe that's just because our brains we must be wired differently. That's probably the same reason why we were talking the other time about like different elevations and how for you it's like you have to sit and think about in your head, like you got to almost draw out or in your head map out what you're going to do for different elevations, like varying heights. But for me, I don't think that way. Like I just like get to cutting. Like I don't even do anything.
I'm dimensionally challenged. The dimensions for me it's being able to visualize a dimension is difficult for me. I don't know why that is. It doesn't happen when I build. It doesn't happen when I build for World War II dioramas. I don't know why I don't know why I have this problem on the layout with the, on a larger scale city. You can take that phone, and other guys do too, like Jason Jensen. We've seen some of his layout videos, and Doug, and all those guys that do their video stuff. We have had many of our guests, and they all are able to somehow look at that phone and cut it and going, oh, we'll do it just like this. And then look at it, it's great, right?
Yeah.
But then I watched that one video that Doug did where he did all that on a video. And then recently I see he's ripping some crap out and starting over with some stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? It's not just me. And I've seen Jason tear some things up too. So, but they have something that I don't, and so do you. It is that ability to cut and slash the foam and make it in a dimension.
Yeah.
I'm good with putting the buildings where they need to go and in the places and doing the detail work of a scene. Okay, but when it comes to designing the landscape dimensions, I have problems. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just it's just different you're just different. It's a different mindset.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you hear that?
Screen froze?
No, it was like a couple seconds there where it froze up, but
I think it's Ed's. Get your shit fixed, Ed.
No.
I'm kidding. He wrote down it's fixed. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. But it might be glitchy from now and then. Also, do you hear like that whining noise? Is there a whining noise?
Is that mine?
No, can you hear it?
No, I don't hear it.
Okay, good. Then it's good. My water heater over here for some reason just decided to start making a bunch of noise. So
my water heater's on the other side of the house. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, anyways, hey, we got a couple people watching though, so there's a couple people here. Brad or Awesome Possum, Ed Horst is watching.
Daniel Banks,
TB Minnow, Dan Banks, Lynn McCurdy, Timmy's Miniatures is watching. So yeah, we got a few people here watching, but yeah. Either way, we'll do these more and more.
I'm excited to get down there with you now again and get some more stuff done.
Yeah.
It's been a tough couple of weeks. We've had Mother's Day. We've had.
I don't even want to talk about it. No, well, yeah, to me it's crazy because
kids sports and yeah.
I was coaching softball the last couple months with my daughter's softball team, and my other daughter was playing soccer, and it was just.
And Pap has to go to the games.
Yeah, and it just was wild because it was like every night between that and dance competitions and softball and soccer, it was a lot. So now we're at summer break. Yeah, and Ron from My Mount Models just come on too. But either way, we had quite the extravaganza of sports from the spring. But now it's summer break, and we are ready to rock and roll.
I am. So, I'm really looking forward to getting some stuff done.
Yeah, not that summer's any less busy, but
no, it's busy. It's definitely busy. And
yeah, but the evenings aren't as bad. It's we're not on sports in the evening, so
right.
Yeah,
so.
But either way, I got the hill ready to roll. I got 100,000 trees that I'm gonna be putting on the hill, and I was looking up.
We have some pines. We have a bunch of pines, don't we?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a huge mix of stuff, but I was looking up how I want to do the forest section after we were talking with James about it, and it's been a couple. I'm ready to start putting ground cover down, and for me, initially I'm like, well, I'm going to use static grass, and then I'm like, nah, because when I'm like, I'm always in the woods on trails and running and spending time up in the forest above my house, and for me, like there's not a lot of grass on the forest floor,
Yeah, well, sure.
So I started looking.
It's not like somebody up there and said, "Oh, let's put some Scott's Turf plus.
Yeah, right. No, it's not going to be like lush grass. Now there'll be
Right.
there's sections where there's some higher grass and some laurel, mountain laurel up this way,
Right.
and like some scrub brush and everything like that. Leaf litter. That's what Ron just said on here from Mind Mount. So yes, I was looking up pictures of even larger scale modelers that do forests, and I need to get a whole bunch of dried leaves and grind them up and put them down as the base. And then before I even do that, I'm going to start putting brush and weeds down. Like, man, Ron's like rattling off all the terms
Yeah, man.
that I'm going to be using for this.
He must run with you.
Yeah. No, but seriously, when you're in the woods,
No,
it's
you're
not
right.
grass. You know, there's sections where there's some meadow in between, like the trees cleared out a little, and you do have some grassy sections which I can put in, but for the most part, you got a lot of mountain laurel.
I'll make some of that leaf litter for you. I have some here. I'll make a bunch more for you.
Yeah, and Lynn said moss and lichen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
And I actually have some moss that I got from one of my kids' crafts kits. Evie got a Evie got a dinosaur terrarium thing for her birthday, and she didn't want to use the lichen moss stuff that came with it, and I was like, oh, don't throw that out. I'm gonna take that. So I got a couple bags of that just from that, and then I do have some moss that I got.
I have AK moss and lichen too.
I got the craft store moss, and it'll work fine. So, but it's still a little thick, so I'm gonna have to shred it up a little bit and make it to scale. So, yeah. Long story short, I was gonna go at it without really looking at it, and I'm glad I did take a break and look up pictures of even larger scale forests. Like some of the dudes do forest scenes from bigger scale things, like the military modelers and things like that. And I am gonna put a ground covering down that's, that you would see if there was a thick canopy. Well, because you got to remember,
your old man has some books too on that.
I'm not gonna read them. You know me.
You're too funny, man.
You know me.
Why? They're good. I mean,
they're probably the best.
For them.
I know they're probably the best books ever.
I have some AK books on how to do that.
I know, Dad. I know, but I need to see it on I need a YouTube video. I can't.
They're videos. I mean, they're not videos.
They're video books. What kind of?
No. They got pictures. They're color picture books, man.
Okay.
The books are color pictures. And I have a whole collection online on my account.
Are there?
You are included.
I did see them. Yes. Google. No, I've gone through them.
Okay, so there's some real good ones there.
You're right. I know, but you know how I am. I just want to. I'm going in. Put my helmet on, Coach. I'm going in, and I'm gonna go out.
Yes.
What?
I'm sorry. Matt has a good one here. He says, "I like Boomer's pinch and stab method for static grass versus the applicator." Okay, not that, but he brings up Boomer's dioramas on skill dioramas on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if you belong to that channel.
I've seen it.
That guy has his scenery techniques are sick. They're just really good.
Well, that's my speed too, because I can watch it on a YouTube video. But you know me with instructions and books. It's out the window.
Matt Probst channel also has some very good videos.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. He's still putting out some kick-ass videos.
Yes. So.
But either way, all right. Let's all make fun of Brett because he can't read the books and he has to watch a YouTube video. But no, either way. So I'm gonna. Long story short, I know I want to put a thick canopy down, and when you're doing a thick canopy, you can't have a lot of grass down below because it's just not gonna. Realistically, it's not gonna grow. No. It might only grow to. I mean, you'll get grasses and stuff, but for the most part, thick canopies in the Northeast, you get a lot of underbrush that's kind of scrub brushy, and mountain laurel. It's thick. Which
what Lynn said too with the the mosses and the lichen. It's all over the place up this way.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just gonna be a different type of ground cover I'm getting ready to put down, and I've just been taking my time looking at what other people have done and figuring out materials I can use for it.
Yeah, it's
and
yeah.
I found a couple buildings off our collection of buildings that I'm definitely gonna be jamming into the forest section. So that's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna dimly light them, kind of like we were talking with James, under that underbrush, that thick canopy. I'm gonna be putting some lights in that are like, if you're driving through like that podunk little town, and there's like a couple sleepy like shacks in the woods, I'm gonna put lights in those buildings.
Oh, cool.
Not that we do a lot of lights, but I'm gonna put some.
No, but it'll be darkened from some of the tree canopy.
Yeah.
And in places, so that light will show up.
Yeah, I also think it'd be cool if we could. I do not want to do this for more than like one or two of them, but I want to do a couple, like an old pickup truck with like one headlight or two headlights that are just real dim, like parked beside a building. But I don't want a bunch of lights on vehicles in the first place. I do think that looks lame. You start looking like roadside America after a while. But I do think where you have like an old sleepy looking pickup truck, find one that has two front lights and just kind of have it parked beside like an old shack under a tree. Yeah. Like that would look sick. So
that would look cool.
Anyways.
Yeah, I don't want them in the city.
No.
One of the Scenics makes those ones that light up and they have little lights, little tail lights and headlights. And you know what? That's fine. But those things they're like $15 to $20 a piece.
Yeah, I mean, no.
They're more than that, actually. They're like 20 up. And it's like,
I'm not interested in doing all those.
If you put 5 vehicles on, you're already talking like,
$100
already a Benjamin, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So forget that. No.
Yeah, no. So I do want to do one though, like beside us, a creepy old building, or like park it beside an outhouse and leave the truck running like there's someone in there, dropping one. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to be working on that side pretty heavy here through the summer. So I think over the next month or two, that's going to be my main focus.
We have some. Dan Banks is on here. He's talking about some of the undergrowth and things like that. I have some, and you do too. I still have a bunch of that Martin Welberg matting.
Yeah, I've been using it.
You can pull some of that stuff off, and that will work too. As far as putting that stuff down. I went to Scenic Express website, and I can't seem to find any of Martin's stuff available anywhere. He doesn't have a lot of it. I don't know if it's because of what's going on with the tariffs and everything else, and he's all pissy about it. But he's not been sending any of it over here, from what I could tell. I've seen some of his posts on Facebook, so I think maybe he's.
All right. Well, let's avoid that one like the plague.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Moving on. Who knows?
I'm not trying. I can't get it. And it's nice shit. It's the best. It is the best looking stuff. It's not cheap, but it's the best looking stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering why you can't get it.
Well, I'm sure there's a reason, and I'm sure there's a reason that's involved in current news. I do not.
Whatever. I'm not getting into current news. I'm just things. It is what it is. I mean,
I know.
Get it. There's a reason why you can't get it.
You're right.
I'm not going into why or how. I don't give a shit about that.
Dad.
Okay.
Simmer down. Right. We're good.
All right.
All I meant to say was, you started going into why though, and I just don't. We never do it.
Almost lost my thing.
Hey, the best part about doing this on video is you get to see all the things you drop now.
Yeah, that's cool. So
either way,
but
like
I said, I have some of that stuff. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to be careful in how we spread it out to use it. Hoping that we could sometime get some more, because we're gonna have to be sparingly with it, and that sucks, because I'd like to use more of it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm trying to drive at.
That's fine.
But
That's
you know,
fine.
so we got that. So that's good. The ground cover will be good. But like Dan said, there's I don't know what variety. Variety makes great woodland undergrowth. Is that a company?
I think
Yeah,
you.
Martin stuff is awesome. It is without a doubt, man. So
Um, yeah. Either way, that's where I'm gonna be focused the next couple months here. I'm gonna just. It's about a 2x4 foot area I'm working, so that's gonna take me some time. But that's gonna be where my focus is for the next, through the summer.
yeah,
I'm gonna work
yeah.
on that, mainly that area pretty heavily, and just get it knocked out through the summer here.
Right, right. I want to get when I get down.
Yeah, I knew
wanna
it.
work
I
that
knew
back
it.
section behind you.
I knew what Dan meant. He said he meant a variety of stuff makes great for woodland undercover. Like,
Oh,
yeah, like when you're going.
okay. I thought it was some new company or stuff comes out all the time. So I don't know.
No, like when you're walking through the woods, there's a plethora of plants to make sure that we're covering. So it's not like you can't go wrong just putting a whole pile of stuff underneath and changing it up, which is actually nice too, because it won't be as boring as static grassing a giant hillside like it's a meadow in Holland and it's just covered in grass like the. I think of these giant. We don't need to name the layout or the type of modeler, but you ever seen the layouts where I want to
A lot
talk.
of the European modelers.
Yeah, they do these giant hill scenes, and it looks like the window.
Right.
It looks like the old Windows XP background.
Right,
It's just
right.
like a big grass hill with blue sky. Literal, but that would bore me because it's just like giant patches of static grass. I don't want to do that. Like
No.
I want to switch it all up. Anyways, one comment on here from Matt. The thing about a forest is you can't see too far into it, so you only need to detail the edge. That is true, but the way I'm gonna do this forest is there's roads cutting through it too. So like I'm gonna have a lot of edges. It's not gonna be a forest where it's like a 2 feet deep of trees and I only have to do the first few inches in. I'm gonna do it in a way like a mature forest would have, where it's you've seen this, Dad, too. You know how in areas where they like let in a mature forest, like there's people living around it still, but it's old trees and the underbrush is taken care of because they either have animals in there eating it or they have that's their yard, so they keep it cleared out underneath. I want it to be a lived-in wooded section, not just a big expansive forest. So I don't want it to be a cheat to not cram as much detail in by just loading it up with trees. So I do want to challenge myself to make sure that anywhere you look in the forest, that the canopy is thick, but that way if you get down like this and you're looking at it from the side, that you can look in underneath it and there's just details jammed in underneath the trees.
Right. No, I get that.
So
That makes sense.
But you do see people model forests where it's like this giant, hillside or big scape of trees, and yeah, you could just cover it with trees and not have to worry about what you're putting underneath it because you can't see through it. But I don't want to do that. I want to challenge myself to build life within the forest underneath it. So, yeah.
Huh.
The other cool thing I saw, I'm going to cut in. I'm going to interrupt you again because you always. That seems to be my.
I was watching the screen on here on that. Come to think of it, and it shows just your photo, and then when I talk, it just my photo. It doesn't show both.
Yeah, I know. I gotta figure out how to do a split screen.
I don't know. I was just trying to figure out.
No, you're
why I was
fine.
doing that.
You're fine. The other thing I want to do that I saw in our area a lot is these old property lines that are done with rock walls. I want to throw them in along the road and back into the woods. You see it around here quite a bit. I'm sure you see it all over the East Coast and North America, where they're digging up a property and it could have been farmed, or it could have been they were digging up a house and they got a lot of rocks and they line their property lines with those rock walls. I want to put a few of them in, on the countryside of the layout because I just love when I was running the other day and I came across a big property that the whole property was lined with the limestone rock walls, and I was like, that is too cool. I want to
You're
model
thinking
that.
about that. Thinking about that, how long it takes them to make that.
Yeah, because it's not like
all that shit out in the woods and line all that up. and that blows my mind. That somebody way back in the day loaded up. Oh, they how many rocks can you carry? Did they have a wheelbarrow that could go all the way through the woods? And what about the tough sections of woods where you can't get that wheelbarrow? So you carry like a handful up every hour or two, or I don't get it.
When they did it, they did it even back like before there was even steam equipment. Like, they had steam farm-driven steam-driven farm equipment and big tractors. But even prior to that, I guess you'd load a wagon up with rocks and you have your horse or your mule pull it, and you just take a bunch of rocks out and you're like, well, I'm going to add 3 feet to the wall today. And you just stack 3 more feet. And then next year you come back with another load of rocks and you put 4 more feet on the wall. I don't know how long it took to build those walls, because some of them are long through those fields. Yeah. Long. The only thing I could think of is if, you're farming and you're tilling and you're digging up rocks, after year of doing that, you're digging up more rocks. So eventually your field's rock free, but you put them all on the walls.
You still got to get off your tractor or your till or whatever and go over, pick them all up and then put them on a wall.
They make the kids do it.
What a pain in the ass. Yeah. I mean, that's why some of these you
got 12 kids.
Families have 12 kids. Hey kids, you're going to fall behind and pick up rocks, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh man. Forget that. But
yeah, well, yeah, we got Dan saying in North Dakota it's just grass. I'm out of North Dakota, grass everywhere except where it's nothing but dirt. That sounds beautiful to live there. And then Lynn's saying he knew a guy that his father and him, they had a wood skid and 2 mules and they hauled rocks that way. But like my dad said, you still got to stack them on the skid and unstack them when you get there.
What a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I'm not afraid of work, but god dang. Wow.
And Dan said there's some tools, there's specific tools to make them and make sure they're shaped correctly. The form tools look a lot like a harp switch stand.
Oh.
Either way, it's a lot of manual labor to see how, I don't know, it's a lot. Anyways, they are cool. Nowadays, they're cool to see old rock walls, and I want to do it. I don't know how we got talking about that, but we're going to put them in.
Yeah, okay.
So, anyways, that's what I've been up to. Also, I finished my Smith's lock and key. So, that building's done. I'm going to put pictures up here in a couple days. So,
all right.
Yeah. Well, anyways, what have you, what do you got cooking over there?
Wow. Let's see. Well, I got one building now. It was from the Rush Rock Falls series. It was a garage, okay? And I'm working now. It's a stucco garage. I've gotten that far with it so far. I haven't weathered it yet. I've only painted it up and put the stucco on, which, by the way, I've done the stucco with this stuff before. It came with the kit that was from Foscale Models. I use Durham's rock hard water putty right here.
Yeah, Rocky says Rocky Dice. Remember that whole... You know what I'm talking about? I don't... That's still... It's sitting right here. I still don't understand what this means.
Where's that at?
Right there.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
What does...
Maybe Rocky hit the casinos. I don't know.
I don't know.
He sold so much of this shit that he got money to go to the casinos.
Rocky Dice.
Anyways, I'm working this gas station, and I used that stuff on it. It came with some. Doug put some in his kit, but then I added some extras where it goofed up a little bit on me. But you can't really mess it up.
No.
You just kind of wet it into like a paste, and then just staple it on and stipple it on, or whatever the hell you say, and then I painted it up and did the whole thing there. Now I got to do the roof and add the detail parts and things like that and weather it. So that was something I hadn't built. I did the whole rest of the kit, but I had not built that. And it was sitting up in a box. I'm like, I was sorting the shelves out the other day, and I'm like, what's in here? So I open up and go, oh shit, I never built this yet. This is still sitting in there. So I was like, it'll be a nice, quick, easy build. And for the most part, it has been. It's very simple, 4 square walls and a roof. But you know, it's just the painting the stucco, and then trying to weather the stucco. What?
Guy on here, PK and W Model Works, he said, "Hey Brett, your old man has you beat on video background for sure." And then he accidentally spelled your name Tude.
Oh, Tude. Well, I've been called worse. So,
but yeah, no, I will have a better. I'll have a better background soon. But you got to remember, my dad didn't tear his house down, and I'd start from scratch. So I have the Apollo Moonlander aluminum foil insulation back here behind me. But I will be I will be working on a better workbench situation here soon, because right now I'm on a folding table with all my racks in front of me, which is behind my camera. Eventually, I'm going to be expanding out and doing a better workbench here soon, because I'm hogging up all the folding tables in the house for my workbench right now.
Yeah.
A lot of guys got stucco stuff on here. Dan says he made stucco with fast dry spackle. He loved the end result, but it sucked to apply. It didn't want to stick to anything. And then Matt says, for stucco, I've just been using stippling on craft paint, just easy and subtle with some craft paint.
That's a good idea too. I didn't think about that. But since I do this method, it takes moments to do it, and you know it doesn't take long to dry. But I'll try the craft paint sometime. That might be good. So also, I'm going to talk a little bit about a failure. I was building a background flat building. Okay, I showed everybody. It was on Facebook. I put pictures up, but it is one of those big, tall structures, about 12 or 13 stories high.
Oh yeah, this is funny.
And I don't know what went wrong. I'm not sure exactly. It's a plastic kit, and then I took it and broke it in half and made extra walls, cut those special walls to make it one big giant tower, okay, instead of a full building. Which maybe, hindsight being 2020, I probably should have just left it a building. I don't know. But I want some background flats. I want some big, tall ones. So I was working that, and it was boring as hell, okay, because it's a boring-looking building. It's just straight up, big, giant-ass windows. And I thought, well, you know what? I might color those windows, okay, different shades. Well, each one has about 80 windows on each little plastic window, the mullions that you put in, right? Divides it into like 80 windows per window. And then they have 13 floors of windows. So I started doing that, and I was like, oh, this sucks. And I pull all the plastic off the windows, put new plastic on, and then just put black up behind it. Because I just didn't want to fool with the paint in the window things. It would have looked cool, but it would have taken me a month to paint all that shit. So I stopped doing that, and I said, okay, let's just get this thing done and built. Fine. I'm doing it, but it's too plain looking. It was just like, I used deck tan paint, and I airbrushed it on to the walls originally. I used deck tan, and when I was done, I used a silicone spray, not silicone spray, but a matte varnish finish, a matte finish, okay, for a sealant, and I sealed it, and because I'm going to weather it.
Yeah.
So then I decided I'm going to weather it. Well, I was going to do a wash. So I start doing a wash on it. Well, it's too big. The damn thing's too big. And I'm trying to make the wash look natural. I can't stand it upright to put the wash on, because if you do, it just runs down, okay? And it looked like crap. And then what happens is, whatever's in the wash, it was not an acrylic wash. Okay, I used an alcohol-based wash, and it started to melt. But it wasn't melting the plastic so much as it was taking all the paint off, and and the the mat protectant.
Yeah.
Okay, the varnish. Well, it's making all that run, and it's looking like crap. So I'm like, geez. So, and it wasn't running because I had it standing upright. I had it sitting down. Well, the problem was when you lay it down flat to put all that on a big building. And it's just something I'm going to have to learn, But then this stuff was puddling and leaving these weird, really weird, dried up.
You were so frustrated that night.
Things. I was so pissed, and so, I played Godzilla with that, and I beat the shit out of it and broke it into little pieces, and took it outside, threw it into my giant garbage can.
You called me that night. You're like, that project's in the dumpster. I'm done.
I bought it at one of the train shows, the Timonium show, from one guy who was they had like a white elephant table, whatever. They're trying to get rid of everything cheap for somebody. I guess is selling somebody's stuff off for them, and they had the thing down like $15. And I was like, all right, well, I'll get it because I can make a flat out of this. So I'm not out the money, I'm out the time. It's the time, and it was just a fail. I could have repainted the whole damn thing, but the problem is the thing comes with plastic windows that fit in a big long section. So, I glued them in. So if you want to redo the whole wall, you got to take them out. And so as I'm trying to pry one out, and the wall cracks and the window cracks, and I'm like, now it's going to look like dog shit, So I'm not even going to bother. And I destroyed it. It was a failure. I have some more I'm going to do. Learn my lesson, and I have some other small instructions I'm going to do. But that one hit the trash can, and sometimes that happens. And I have a low tolerance level for things that start to frustrate me after a certain period of time. Not always, but after a certain period of time. And I like to think I have a lot of patience, but I lost my patience, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? I've wasted too much time on this. It's going to take me another week or so just to fix my mistakes. And now it's cracking and breaking. It's done. $15. It's worth the $15 for the experience.
Yeah.
So that's out of the question. I have that. And I'm doing this little model here now. I bought all those I think I showed them last week, didn't I? Or last show. Those, for the elevated rail system.
Oh, yeah.
Giant walls and stuff. I'm going to start that up next. And that'll be different. And that's something that I will have no problem with. And here's the thing. It's working with plastic. I started out not really working much with plastics, and then lately I've been kind of working with the plastics. It reacts differently than when we're working with a wood structure, and it's fine. Like I said, I'm also going to be working. I'm working that Zero Fighter. I have it over there on the shelf, and then the last thing I got going on is my workbench. So,
you changed that up quite a bit.
Well, right where I'm facing right now, out here, is a desk that I had that I brought in, and that's where my paint booth is. My paint booth sits literally right here. I'm touching it. Okay, but it was a hutch on top of this desk, and what it did was it blocked off half the light from the room. Okay, and behind my desk, I have a shelf that has some of my finished military dioramas, and some of the fantasy figure things that I've been painting, the miniatures, the thing for like the game miniatures, that kind of thing. I just sit them on the shelf. I don't game. And then over here I got another shelf. Well, that cuts all the light off, and I can't see when I go back around this side and I go to those shelves. So I'll pan it around. I got this camera set up so I can pan. So now my room starts here, and I got a shelving unit here that goes all the way down to the floor. There's a wooden shelf that starts here, and then I have racks, and then it goes down. Then if I come around, you'll see behind me, kind of. I got my big ass chair in the way, but it goes all the way around. There's the window, and then here is another rack of this stuff is containers here.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I go over here, but behind there's a door here, but it closes. Goes to the bathroom, but I have a big shelf over here. It has all my books and extra supplies on the big shelf, and and then I have shit in front of me here. But it's I didn't want to do that. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, it's I took that hutch off and busted it up. Took it out, threw it in the trash. It was just an old desk that we used to have, and I brought it in here rather than get rid of it because I thought it would be great. I could just spin my chair around, and I start spray boothing. And still can do that. I just got rid of the giant hutch, so it worked out real nice. I love the lighting that I get out of this. It really brightens up my room, and that's a key thing. We've talked about that in the past. It's important to have good lighting. I feel, especially as I'm getting older, and I got bifocals, to have the lighting that you need for the detail work and that type of thing. So I did that. I reorganized some stuff, and it's a lot of fun. I love this idea that we can start sharing stuff on here. Oh, yeah. I did go to Mainline Hobby this week and no, I didn't go to Mainline Hobby. I went to Mainline Hobby a couple weeks ago with my brother, who we got started. I think we talked about that last time.
Uh-huh.
Well, this time I took him down. He's starting an N-scale layout at his house. So I took him, and we went down to to York, and we went to the hobby shop in York, PA at
White Rose.
White Rose, which I love too. And sorry, I drew a blank there. And as a result, I picked up. I didn't really want to buy anything, but when we were talking last week about last episode about the paint markers, right?
Yeah.
So I got these paint markers from Galahari. Okay. And you can find them on Amazon or whatever, but just go to the Galahari website. That is GAAHLERI. Okay. And they have these wonderful paint markers. But while I was in there, I already had some of the AK paint markers. Like here's one here, AK paint marker. It's off white. And they sell them at a good price down there for like $3 or $4 and a piece. So I picked up 5 of those when I was down there, and I love these things. They're just awesome. You're not going to paint a whole model with them, okay? You're just not. It's going to be just ridiculous. So, and you're going to get lines on it and stuff. But if you're doing a small item and paint the whole thing, you won't get the lines on it. It's easy to control. It finishes it off quick. I love them. I just get the basics. I don't get the goofy colors and the blues and shit like that. So. It's just like your earth tones, whites, blacks, grays, that type of thing. And so I picked up some more of those. I love the markers. They're good for quick, easy things. They're good for 3D printed parts that have been. It's still best, by the way. It's still best at primer them. Okay, but they're good, and you can do it without the primer on them, but I still recommend it. And I picked up. That's it, basically. A couple jars of paint, and that was it. So, but that's about where I'm at right now. I'm like I said, I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to start some. I'm going to work the Zero Fighter. I'm going to work some of my because we're going to be doing scenery down the layout, right?
Yeah.
So, right now I have some buildings I can do, and I will. But I'm going to focus a little bit back onto the military side of things for a couple weeks anyways, and start working the diorama again and the Zero Fighter. I still have that woman, the Zero, this one, that I was painting. Last time we saw, that was a Lady Death. So I'm still working Lady Death. And I'm trying to get her skin tones correct. And that's a learning process. So I have her sitting over here. And I'll work on her a little bit too. But my next thing is to actually get back to working on that military diorama while we work the layout. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Right.
I was messing around while you were talking, trying to get it to show the split screen on the YouTube stream, but it won't. Anyways, we did get a comment.
No, too much other use sooner stuff.
I know. I was gonna call that out. I was like, well, that might be the first person we ever have to permanently ban from our. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, it's all right. It's all right.
You put the Longhorns, hook 'em horns up, man. That's all right. We're kidding. We don't mind. It's all fun.
Yeah.
We love. We don't like Texas, but we love that we get to play them, and we love the rivalry of it. It's fun. It would, if they didn't have Texas, and Texas didn't have Oklahoma, it wouldn't be half as fun to watch.
No.
It would. No, it wouldn't be.
No, because you wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't be as fun to compare them against anyone else.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at so far. I know I took a bit of a break there in the spring. I mean, I didn't take a break. I just was like working at a different pace because of the kids stuff. I had a billion things going on with the kids, and I can't be like, no, sorry, sorry, honey, I'm gonna miss your game because I gotta make some trees. Little mini trees. Like I can't look at my kids and tell them that. So I did get work in.
I'm gonna spit my Coke out through my face.
I saw that. Like, oh, sorry, honey, I can't go to your soccer game. Daddy has to paint some tiny people. But, like, and then my kids are like at the game, and all the other friends are like, "Where's your dad?" Oh, he's painting little people, and they don't have any idea what I'm doing. I just told my kids that, and now my kids are telling their friends that I'm painting little people, and then they're not allowed. Then they're not coming to our house. They're not allowed to hang out here anymore. So, anyways, I have this kit. I'm gonna put up some better pictures of it. This was my big. I'm a little mad though because I picked it up to get it ready to move out of the way for the show, and what happened is I broke a chimney, or I broke a pipe off the side of the building. So, of course, I picked it up to show you guys earlier, and I broke the damn building already. But I just finished the Jason Jensen's Trains Smith's Lock and Key, and I think it turned out pretty good. I'm going to take it outside and do some outside pictures of it. I did add this gigantic World War II propaganda poster to it. And, I got a little bit of work to do with the detail parts, but I'm going to do some outside photos of it soon. I was pretty happy with that kit, though. It was a fun kit. Can't wait to get it on the show. I mean, on the layout. We did not make it to Amps in Harrisburg. I forget what we did that weekend. Something came up on my end, and I could not make it. But
I also had, and that's just it. We had that, and then I guess we had kids sports on Saturday, so that made it tough as well because I wanted to go see my.
Oh yeah, we had softball tournament.
Game. We had a softball. We had, and I had the one granddaughter's soccer
birthday.
So, and the birthday party.
It was a nightmare. It was a crazy weekend.
We wanted to make it. I honestly did because there's a couple of the military Milo guys, the armor Milo guys that I wanted to actually meet, and I didn't get that opportunity. But
again, it comes down to
family obligations.
May and April were crazy months with family stuff, and that was my daughter's birthday weekend, and I was like, again, I can't be like, sorry, about your birthday
also,
part.
You got to judge it.
Yeah.
PK and W Model Works. You got to judge the event, some of the experience. I know some of those guys. They had some amazing stuff. I saw the photos from the show of the models from the contest, and they were just sick. Some of them were sick, and I would like to see a lot more diorama stuff on military modeling instead of just armor or just You know, but you get what you get, and it's all depends on what that modeler feels like making. But I'd
Right.
love to see some more intense diorama stuff. There was some, and it was gorgeous. But their abilities are great. We have some great modelers in this mid-state area in Pennsylvania. I know as being at some of their meetings and such that I've seen the models that they do, and
Even
I
in
talked with these guys. They make some amazing stuff.
even in the region in general, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
like outside of Central
So
PA.
yeah. Well, right. So it's good, and so, but,
All right.
yeah. Sorry I missed it.
Well, I
Yeah.
was just reading comments. Sorry, catch up on comments. That's gonna be hard. I'm gonna have to get used to
No, I have a comment here. I wanted to comment on. I think
comment on the comment,
scroll up.
please.
Oh yeah, I am. This is like, what the hell just happened here? Okay, so Dan Banks. It's not really a plastic phobia. It was a plastic phobia in a way.
We did have a plastic
did for a while.
phobia.
I do like the fact of being able to mix them now, and I see the end results of that with the brick and then the wood. And we talked about that countless times on there since I got back into the plastic. That wasn't a comment necessarily I want to see. Let's see.
Dan, you don't need to feel like you need to make up for that because we had a plastic phobia. We did.
Oh, yeah, we did. Right. No. But I do like working with the plastic. It is a different medium, and it's not easy. Everybody says, "Oh, well, plastics, they don't look real." I think you can make them look real. I've tried, and I think I've succeeded in making some of them look real, or more realistic, or to fit in very, very well with the wood models, and it can be done. And
to counter that, you can make the wood kits look fake.
You can if you make them bright enough, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, or use shiny paint, gloss paint. But here's the thing. He made a comment on the lighting. We were talking about the lighting. He said he uses a 4500 light, so a light bar, and I do too. I have that lighting that I have behind me is a 45 lumen lighting, and then I have another 45 lumen over here to my left that you can't see, and then I have above me in the ceiling light fixture, I have another 4500 worth of lume light in one of those things you stick into the light fixture, and it shines in 3 different directions. So that comes down on me. By the way, it's hot as hell. And then, so when you have that, what do you have? You have a 12,500 looms. No, I don't think that's how it works. It's all a matter of light in the general area. And then I have this thing behind me. It's over my desk, so I can turn them on and brighten them up. And
I can't wait to show you
bring
what
them down.
I can't wait to show you what I'm working with here for lights. You ready?
Yeah.
So, my dad may have impressed you with his fancy lighting.
Well,
But
but you go ahead.
But do you have 6 of these above you?
Yeah.
Wait. Do you have 6 Philips 800 lumen, 8.5 watt, 5,000 K, 135 milliamp in light bulbs? And I got. Hey, whoa! Don't get too jealous because I got 2 more that I'm gonna put up.
Hey, I got
No.
I got a light fixture over here that's not even being used, one of those hanging ones, and you're welcome to it. And,
No, well, I rewired when I finished my basement over here. On what I did do the finished basement side, I took all the lighting that they put in, like the rough-in lighting, and I put it all right here over the layout. So it is much brighter. But now that the wiring's done, I will be switching out those light fixtures for some better overhead lights now. So, but I don't have to do anything else now. They're already wired. I can just swap them out.
Right. Yeah. Now on the lighting thing, I was going to add something important to that. Maybe it wasn't that important, but you got to talking about it. And also, yeah, for anybody that has the lighting in their shop, I also use my Google. I have one of those Google. What's the little round thing, Brett, that you gave me? The Google
Home.
Yeah, Google Home. Well, I use Google Home, and I bought some of those light fixtures from, I guess they're plug outlets, from Wise and Wiz, the two companies that make them. The one company selling it at Home Depot is Wiz, and the one at Lowe's is Wise. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. You can buy them from Roku and some other ones. They're plugs. You put them in, and then you hook your lights into them, and then you can just tell I can just say, "Hey Google, turn off shop."
And that,
there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey Google, turn on shop. And I can do this from anywhere in the house. I can do it from work. Not that I would ever do that, but
it didn't turn back
Google,
on.
I will. Hey Google, turn on shop.
Oh, it's not gonna work now.
It works all the time. It must be something with our setup here.
It's shy. It's just shy.
Hey Google, turn on shop. There you go. So, yeah, I mean, I like it because I can turn off one and not the other. I can have one labeled as shop 1 and one's shop 2. I have other lights in my house that are all set up this way too. So that way I can turn them on before I even get in here, and which doesn't make a lot of sense actually.
Yeah.
But
well, either way, it is a nice thing to have. You don't have to reach and turn them all on anymore.
Yeah.
So nice. Alrighty. Well, one other life hack with those smart things is you can get outdoor ones too. And at Christmas time, I hook up all my Christmas lights on the outside to them, and then you can just sit in the living room and turn your Christmas lights on and off from your recliner. It's the best thing ever. So, yeah. I mean, I don't got much else. I don't know if you have anything else you want to throw in there.
Right now, until I get some more projects working.
Nice.
But yeah.
Alrighty. Well, let's wrap this one up, and let's call it a night. I'm gonna end the audio part of it.